This may surprise you, but as you can tell from the title of this video, you need less than $500 to start a phone case business right from home. In this video, I'll be sharing with you the step-by-step process of how to start your phone case business with all the supplies and materials you'll be needing. Before we continue, I want to say that we'll be using the sublimation method for this video, and I will not be going into depth on the type of selling platform to use. One, because I'll actually be making a separate in-depth video on it, and two, that is going to depend on a lot of different factors and everyone's situation is different. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss that video on what selling platform to use and how to set up your website. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm going to be showing you the entire process of creating a phone case from start to finish. It's extremely easy and anyone can do this, so let's get started. The first thing you're going to need is a design. There's many different places to get designs, and a great place to find them is Etsy. Please keep in mind that you cannot use anything that is copywritten or trademarked to sell, or you can get in some serious trouble. Some examples of this are Disney, Marvel, NFL teams, etc. There are a lot of small businesses that do sell those types of items, but please note that if they did not acquire a commercial use license, they are doing that illegally, and you can continue at your own risk. If you want to learn how to create your own designs from scratch for free, here is a quick tutorial on how to do it. I'm going to open up Canva and create a template. Keep in mind that all cases are different sizes, so create your template accordingly. I'll be demonstrating an iPhone Pro Max, so my template size will be about 6.7 inches by 3.5 inches with a little extra wiggle room. Now you can start designing your phone case however you want, but please keep in mind that you do have to combine different elements in order to comply with Canva's commercial use rule. You can't just take one element and call it your own. You must have multiple elements to create an original design. Once you finish creating your design, you'll then export it as a PNG. This next step is optional, but I like to go back into Canva and create an 8.5 by 11 template because that's the size paper we'll be printing on, and bundle 3 transfers to one sheet. And now it's time to print our transfer, and no, you can't use just any printer. It has to be a sublimation printer, and we'll go over that later in the video. I'm going to select my file and hit print. This next step is super important for your prints to come out correctly, so please pay attention. There's a couple settings I'm going to be changing, and the first thing I'm going to do is select mirror print. This is super vital for your prints to come out right. I'm also going to change the print quality to best quality, both here and on the printer, and then I'm going to scale this to 100%. I recommend saving these settings as a preset and title it sublimation like I did so that you can skip all these steps every time you go to print. Just remember to always scale to 100%. And now all you have to do is hit print and wait for your transfers to be ready. The printing speed is definitely not the fastest, especially because we hit the best quality setting, which slows it down even more, but it is essential. Now that it's done printing, we're going to cut up our transfers and apply our phone case blank to get ready for pressing. Super important step right here. If you don't do this, your phone case will be ruined. I'm going to remove the plastic cover from the metal plate. It's a very thin layer and you can't even feel it, but I promise you it's there. All sublimation cases come with this layer, and if you forget to take it off, it will melt onto the aluminum and you will destroy your case, so do not skip this step. Once you remove the film off of the metal plate, place it directly on top of your transfer. Don't wait too long after peeling because dust and debris can get onto your metal plate and they will show up on your finished case and potentially ruin it. The next step is to apply some heat-resistant tape to prevent your transfer from moving around. Please don't try to use regular tape, it will melt and ruin your case. It has to be heat resistant. Let's head over to our heat press and start setting it up. I'm going to set it to 365 degrees for 50 seconds. A pretty crucial step here to protect your heat press mat is that you'll want to line it with some parchment paper. This is to prevent the sublimation ink from transferring onto your mat. As you can see, someone skipped this step and ruined my mat. I'm not going to name any names. My boyfriend. Anyways, let's move on. I'm using an automatic heat press and the pressure has always worked great for this, but if you have a manual heat press, you'll want to adjust the pressure to fairly heavy. You should struggle a little when you release. When I first started making phone cases, I did press it with the transfer facing down and it still worked, but I definitely noticed much more brightness and vibrancy when the transfer is facing up. Once your press is up to temp, we're going to place our plate with the transfer facing up. After it's done, be careful not to touch it with your bare hands. You will burn the shit out of your fingers. I've done it many times. You can wait for it to cool down to peel it, or if you're impatient like me, you can wear heat-resistant gloves and peel it right away. But either way, you definitely want to wait until it's completely cool to start applying it to your rubber base. So once it is cool, I'm going to peel off the white protective layer on the rubber base to reveal the sticky part where our metal plate is going to adhere. Take your time with this next step, especially if you are a beginner, because if you misalign the metal plate, good luck taking it off without bending it backwards. The adhesive used is 3M tape, which is a very industrial grade tape and it makes it really hard to remove. So again, definitely have patience with this step and take your time aligning it. And after you put it on there, give it a couple presses to make sure it's locked into place, and there you go. There is your completed phone case. Pretty easy, right? And now let's go over some of the materials and supplies you'll be needing to start your phone case business. The first and most important thing that you're going to be needing is a sublimation printer. The Epson EcoTank printers, specifically the 2800s or the 2850s, are the most common and budget-friendly for converting into sublimation printers. And while there are printers specifically made for sublimation, they are much more costlier, and I find it unnecessary as this is the same exact thing, just converting a printer. And a little side note, there are some ways to save some money around this, you guys. For example, maybe you can find a sublimation printer in your area on Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp that is already converted. A lot of the times when people are selling converted printers, they could sell them in bundles already with some of the other supplies that you're going to need. So the prices that I'm going to show you for these materials are, of course, if you buy them brand new, but there are ways to save some costs. The Epson EcoTank printer, specifically the 2800, should run you about $180. So because you're going to be converting a printer, you're going to need sublimation ink. You will not use the ink that your printer comes with. And you guys, there are tons of tutorials on how to convert a printer to a sublimation printer, but essentially you're literally just going to replace the ink that it comes with the sublimation ink. And a pack of sublimation ink with all the different colors you'll be needing, which include black, yellow, magenta, and cyan, will run you about $30. Just so you guys know, the printer is pretty great on ink. Of course, this is going to depend on you and how much you're printing, but I print almost every day for my business, and I only have to refill the ink maybe once every 6 months. You can't just use any regular paper for this. You will need sublimation paper. Sublimation paper is essentially the carrier sheet for your ink to transfer onto whatever product you're going to be sublimating on. Normal paper does not have this capability, so you can't use it. And sublimation paper will be around $15 for about a pack of 100. You're also going to be needing some heat-resistant tape. Now, I did include this with the dispenser because I really recommend it. Of course, this is optional. You can cut it with scissors, but it really saves a lot of time. So the dispenser does come with heat-resistant tape already, so it's going to be around $20. And of course, another very important thing that you're going to be needing is a heat press. So again, this doesn't need to be anything fancy or brand new. You can definitely find a more affordable heat press on OfferUp or Facebook in your area. I know this for a fact. And if you're on a really tight budget and you want to save as most as possible, I highly recommend doing that because brand new, they're going to run you about $180. And again, it's really not necessary for it to be brand new. This is totally up to your preference. And of course, the most important thing you'll be needing is your sublimation phone cases. So here's the thing about the cases. Of course, there's different phone brands like Android and Apple. And then of course, there's so many different models of the Pro Max, the Pro, the regular, the Plus, all that stuff. So for example, if you wanted to buy, 10 cases of the iPhone 12 mini, there are options, for example, on Amazon that you can buy those in bundles. And in some cases, you can save money buying them in packs of 10 or whatever. And I definitely recommend this when you're starting out so that you can practice with, these types of phone cases because you're not just going to be an expert right away. But you can also purchase sublimation phone cases individually, and there are so many different places that offer it. So if I could do it over, here's what I would do. I currently have the iPhone 15 Plus, so I would personally order, packs of 10 or whatever off of Amazon to practice on at least. And once I've, mastered it and all that, I then would order all my inventory individually, and here's why. So first off, just because you order in bundles like off of Amazon, whatever, doesn't mean you're ordering in bulk, and a lot of places offer bulk discounts, so you'll save money right there. Secondly, it's super important to literally just buy, I'm not even kidding, probably one of each different phone case just to start off because you need to see what phone models are the most popular. And that's why I recommend if you're not going to be practicing on them but selling them, buy them individually so you can see what phone cases and what models perform the best, study your stock, and then start buying in bigger quantities once you've figured it out. So those are all the material and supply expenses, which is going to bring your total to about $475 before tax. And there will be some other expenses like website fees, listing fees, shipping supplies, things like that. But again, I'm going to touch on that in another video because it's going to depend on what platform you use to sell your products. But if you do it the most affordable way, which I'm going to be sharing in my next video, that should run you about maybe $50 for like website fees and shipping supplies. It really doesn't have to be that expensive. Now, of course, there is more to it than just knowing how to make the phone cases and knowing the materials that you need. You'll want to create a business name, a business logo, some social media for your business, all those types of things. And I actually already have an in-depth video on how to start your business that goes into all those things that I just mentioned and so much more. So this video was just about what you need to start a phone case business in particular, but if you want to start a business in general, please watch my video on how to start a business. And if you're just starting a business or you're already a business owner, either way, I really recommend checking out my small business Facebook group. You'll find a lot of support there with like-minded people. It's about all things small business, including sublimation, and I will be happy to help you if you have any questions on there, as well as the rest of the community. And my entire channel is dedicated to all things small business, behind the scenes, tips, tricks, tutorials, things like that, so make sure to check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please let me know if you found this video helpful or if there's anything that you want to see next. And don't forget to check out my TikTok and Instagram for more content, and I will see you in the next one.